What's up, guys? Well, as you know, today is election day. Just the day we've all been dreading. It seems this election has gone on for 2 fucking years. I can't even remember when it exactly started, but it's all come down to this, man. Months and months of these idiots showing how idiotic they are, and now all for this day. Now, I'm not going to make you a stereotypical election day video because I already told you why Trump and Hillary suck. Gone into minutes upon end about detailing how horrible they are. I already told you why I'm voting for Gary Johnson, so I don't need to say that again. So, basically, the summary of this video is that the American people get what they deserve. No matter if Trump or Hillary wins, I mean, they're both polling at, what, 40-something%, so that's almost half. So almost half of the Americans support one or the other. You reap what you sow. People are like, I can't believe that Donald Trump is so close to being president. Because 40% of Americans or more support him in his horrible ideas. Same thing with Clinton. In this day and age, there is no excuse to be ignorant on all the things that these candidates did wrong. Before the internet, like let's say you lived in a small town in the South or just anywhere, the only source of information you got was from word of mouth and the newspaper, the only newspaper that came to your town, and that's it. So it was very easy for a person who wished well, who honestly wanted to do good. It's entirely possible for that person in the 20s or 30s to be completely misinformed about something because they only have 1 or 2 sources of information. It's easy for someone to dupe someone else because there's so few sources of information. Odds are, a person in Kansas is not going to personally go to Washington, D.C. to figure out the politics of how it's working, to be accurately informed about the presidential election in 1920, whatever. You know, you can't do that. People can't do that. They have to stay and work. So you can easily dupe other people. Nowadays, you can have literally thousands of news articles from a variety of sources all across the world at your fingertips. People ask, well, where do you get your news? You don't watch any TV news, which I literally do not watch 1 second of TV news. It's all biased, it's all flawed, it's all pandering to narratives, nothing. You would be more misinformed by watching TV news than if you just didn't watch anything. That is how stupid all the networks are. So people ask me, well, where do you get your news then? Literally from no one source. I just do Google News and it pulls from every single article that's on that topic, and I read almost every single damn one from all the sources all across the world that are in English or Spanish, just every single one I can get my hands on. So then I know every single perspective about a certain issue. Then that's the most information that I could possibly have on it, because I leave no source unturned. Then I make my decision on what I believe on that certain issue based on my philosophy of, human rights and free market and small government, whatever. Based upon that, that's how I determine my position on things. So like people say, what people influence you? No one. Literally, I do not pay attention to any philosopher, any political person, besides people who I vote for. I don't want anyone to influence how I think. People basically need to know the implications of who they're voting for. Like for Clinton, for example, lots of people say it feels good. She's more humane. She's nicer than Trump. She's not as rude. I feel good by voting for the first woman president of the United States. That's fine. You can use any excuse or any reason you want to vote for a person. There's no holes barred. You do whatever you want. Excuse me. But you have to realize the implications of voting for someone who has killed thousands of people, who supports the Patriot Act, the NDA, blah, blah, blah. Just because you don't think about those topics or the bad things she's done doesn't mean that they go away. There's no excuse to be ignorant on the crimes that Clinton has done, for example. You can look up that she has voted for the Patriot Act and the NDA. She has vocally supported from it, directly from her mouth, not from some other source, some right-wing source that's twisting what she says, but actually from her words out of her stupid mouth. I support the Patriot Act, the NDAA, then you can go online and read the Patriot Act and NDAA and see all the rights that it takes away from American people. Therefore, the logical conclusion, she supports the removal of these American rights, A, B, and C, D, whatever that's listed. So just because you don't think about that, you're like, oh, she's nicer than Trump. It doesn't mean that you are voting for someone who supports these horrible ideas. Same thing for Trump. You may say, oh yeah, it feels good to vote for Trump, so he's sticking to the man, he's sticking to the establishment, I want him to topple the system. Never mind the fact that he, once again, I'm using the same example, he has vocally supported the Patriot Act and the NDAA, which takes away a half dozen of our rights. Just slashes the Bill of Rights, just cuts it in half. Even more than that, that's just at the get-go. Just the basic law that you can read from any smartphone or any computer hooked up to the internet. You can read what the Patriot Act is, and you can see from his own mouth, not from some left-wing source like Huffington Post or Slate, directly from his stupid mouth, I support the Patriot Act NDA. You can go online and read it. Just because you don't think about it, or it's like, I'm just not going to do that Google search about all the bad things that my candidate likes because I don't want to know the truth. Ignorance is bliss. Oh my God, it's so fucking blissful. I wish I didn't know all of the horrible things that Trump or Clinton have done, so then I could go to the polling station with a gleeful smile on my face and vote for them and not have a care in the world, despite the fact that I'm voting for this horrible, disgusting murderer or a person who wants to tear up the Constitution and oppress everyone with this stupid fucking fascism. It's like, people who know what the American government has done, what the president has done over the years, are more gloomy than people who don't know, because they don't have to think about it. They don't know that they live in such a horrible country that does all these horrible things to these people all over the world. I know many good people who are genuinely good, who genuinely care about other people, are not complete dicks, who don't support terrorism, don't support the killing of innocent civilians, don't support, secret military detention facilities that takes away people's rights, whatever. They say that, and they turn around and they vote for Clinton. And they don't have cognitive dissonance jarring in their heads. They don't have to double think. They don't get this big alert system in their body that says you're voting for someone who supports all of these ideals that you profess to not like. They don't, because they're ignorant. They don't know. They don't care. They don't look it up. So it's just like, you will bemoan the fact, how did America get this bad? How does America go this way? Because people are idiots. They're allowed to be idiots. They're allowed to vote without knowing basic fucking shit. Ignorance is bliss. They don't look it up. They just feel about who they feel is the best candidate. You ask them, what are the policies that you like about Hillary Clinton? What are all these good policies she doesn't support? They can't articulate why they want to vote. Oh my God, dead stop. Jesus fucking Christ. Like, I asked my friends, why are you voting for this person when she likes all these horrible policies, A, B, C, D, whatever, and they can't come up with a response. Their response is, well, you like Trump? How is asking you a question saying I support Trump? I do the same thing that Trump supports too. I want to be fair here. I'm bashing both. I ask people for Trump, how do you support a person who supports all his horrible policies, A, B, C, D, blah, 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 and they're just like, well, you're a Hillary supporter. You don't want the terrorists to get in here and kill us, do you? And I'm like, that is the biggest deflection and invalidation. Look it up. It's like a psychological trick that fucking assholes use. It's the biggest deflection or invalidation I've ever heard of. You are completely not even trying to answer my question, which is a very simple question, by the way. Why are you supporting this candidate when this candidate supports these policies? That's like the most basic fact you can ask. I'm not even grinding them. I'm not even like asking some obscure question or a gotcha moment. I'm just asking a basic fucking question, and they can't answer it. They have no idea how to articulate a response. All they know is the 8-second sound bits they hear on Fox News or Huffington Post, depending on left or right, and they just repeat it. So then they can take those stupid little selfies and say, I voted today for peace and prosperity, Clinton 2016, without knowing that she is directly against those ideals that you profess to like. And that's why I say America deserves what it gets. There is nothing stopping you from looking up the past record of all the candidates that are running, including third party. There is nothing stopping you from voting third party. I hate when people say voting third party is a waste. You know that 2/3 of Americans, on average, don't vote? This presidential election might be a little bit more because they're so divisive and inflammatory. But on average, 2/3 of Americans don't vote at all. For every person that says a third party vote doesn't count if just a half of those people just got up their fat asses and fucking voted, then a third party could easily beat a crappy Democrat Republican and get to the White House. There is nothing stopping you from voting. People talk about racist ID laws. Bullshit. Having an ID is not racist. All the minorities I know have an ID. Even the poorest ones that have just screwed up lives, even they have a fucking ID. That's already been debunked. You can just look up racist ID law debunked, and then all these people, these good YouTubers will debunk it. So I'm not even going to go into that. There's nothing stopping you from voting. There's nothing stopping you from voting third party. They keep on saying, well, I don't want to vote for a third party. That's wasting a vote. I want to vote for lesser of two evils. You're still voting for evil, and that explains how we got in this situation in the first place. You want to know why our country is so fucked up? We keep on getting shitty leader after shitty leader because people keep on voting for the lesser evil. They keep on voting for evil, and then they wonder why our country is so screwed up. People hate us, and we kill all these people. My God, it's not fucking rocket science, people. The Republicans are like, if we just get in the White House and just get in control of the House and Senate, then we can pass all this legislation and make America great again. But you have at various points over the decades, and guess what? You just make everything worse. Same thing with Democrats. If only we can win the White House and the House and Senate, and then so we can pass all the laws that we want, we'll just make America great again. Well, they don't use that exact phrase. That's Trump's phrase. But the same idea. And like, you've had that for many years over the decades, and this country still gets worse. You don't solve the problems. Like my Clinton and Trump 10 policies that are saying, no matter who they elect, they are not going to solve the big problems of Social Security, of a deficit, of the war on drugs and the Patriot Act, NDA, foreign aid, 100+ wars. Neither of them they don't talk about that at all, and they're not going to solve it. So now you wonder why. How is this deficit? We keep on incurring this deficit more and more over the decades. Why has anyone solved it? Because you keep voting for people who will say, I won't solve it. Wait, this cop come out and what his freaking deal is. Oh. No, his cop's on a motorcycle. And he's like trying to pull someone over. What the fuck? Can I make one video without like seeing a crash or a police pull someone over? I mean, just goddamn. So there's my point. That's a little rambling. Trying to make it. That's my point. I'm trying to keep this video short because everyone's going to give their opinion about this election day, and I don't want to be the same thing over and over. And I'm just saying, Americans reap what they sow. They are voting for the person, whoever wins. They deserve all the horrible things that they will do. There's no secret. There's no excuse for ignorance. It's your own fault. If you're too lazy to do a Google search and Google all the things that Hillary and Trump support that are horrible, that ruin this country, that hurt people's lives, take away their rights, that's your own damn fault. You have no one to blame but yourself. I'm really happy, though, that third party is gaining so many votes. Sorry, this police officer's really throwing me off on what the fuck he's doing. What is he doing? Okay, anyway, I'm happy that so many people are ditching a two-party system and voting third party because they realize it's a complete fucking sham. It doesn't help anyone but the 1%. But we're, Gary Jones is only polling, what, 5 to 8%, Jill Stein's 2 to 3%, so we still got a long way to go. Things are going to have to get a lot worse before more and more people come to the other side and realize the two-party system is a sham. And that's what's scary. Things suck so bad now for millions of people. It's so hard to live in what was a prosperous, country that was in harmony, and obviously not everyone's at peace. But I'm saying the average person could try, give a decent effort and work and have his own house and car and family. It was possible in this country where it was in lots of other countries. And now people are working their asses off, just going as hard as they can, struggling as hard as they can, and not getting anywhere. Because this country has just slowly falling apart. And it's going to have to fall apart so much more before more people ditch the Republicans and Democrats. And that's the scary part. It's going to have to get so much worse. So many more people have to die. So many more people have to be pushed into poverty and just have nothing. work for bread scraps. They put it on the table, you know, before they realize, hey, voting for these parties who say they're going to help me and they don't. Why would you vote for your abusers? That's all I gotta say.